My name is Mia, so we'll kickstart this workshop. My name is Mia, and I'm leading 2030 Builders, which is actually one of the reasons why I can actually share with you the learning that we have from this company. I will definitely speak from the perspective as being part of 2030 Builders, but this is not a workshop where I'm trying to sell the company, but mainly share with you what I've learned during the 3 years that we've been doing this. To start, an easy introduction, so you know, who I am. I'm actually a co-founder in 2030 Builders, and I would love to hear from you also in the chat. See what, who you are, where you're from, and also what are your expectations from this workshop. In the same time, I will share with you a couple of examples, and this is why we can also use this specific time where you can ask about your challenges and you can ask about your your opinions, or if your curiosity, to satisfy your curiosity. So please let us know, if you have anything to share, also to see where you're coming from, and what are your challenges, right? And expectations also for this session. As an agenda, I would like to express to you why we thought that choosing this topic for the workshop, employee engagement and sustainability, could be interesting. So we will make the case for employee engagement in sustainability. We will explore a couple of reasons of why employee engagement fails in organizations, and then we'll look into how to design an employee engagement program and choosing a path that is right for your organization. Again, for the questions, you feel free to write them in the chat. There's also a question section that we can explore with this. So feel free to interact with us, whichever way it's easier for you. So let's start with kicking the workshop with the case for employee engagement and sustainability. I would like for you to take a minute and reflect on why did you come to this workshop? What is the main reason why you think engaging employees in your organization in sustainability actions is important for you as an employee or in your function, but as well for your company? And then I would like to share with you what other people have answered to this specific question once we ask them in our interactions with more than 170 corporates. And the main reason why people working with sustainability inside companies say that employee engagement in sustainability is important, it is so that the employees can participate and contribute to delivering the corporate strategy, especially with the latest trends where corporates need to pledge for race to zero carbon neutrality. It's very important for the companies to have employees on board with that specific strategic target. Then 79% of the respondents say that they want their employees to become brand ambassadors. So they want them to talk about sustainability, right, or sustainability initiatives with other stakeholders. And I would very much underline that this specific case, I would say it's recognized in specific functions like HR, when we talk about talent acquisition, onboarding, talent retention, but as well when we talk with sales functions or marketing functions that are actually the ones directly reaching the consumer's ears or consumer's eyes. Now, there are a lot of other very, let's say, overseen functions, like, for example, sourcing and logistics, which we just discovered right now with one of our partners, that is very important to get also those functions to be engaged in sustainability actions, and mainly, more specifically, talking about that shift that we are dealing with from delivering fast towards customers, which many times means delivering by air freight, to delivering green. So more and more functions are actually brought to speed into being engaged into understanding and talking about what the company needs to do in sustainability. Then, of course, a lot of the respondents say that talent retention and attraction is very important. The young generation wants, to have the purpose of the company portrayed, beyond the mission of having a profit. So, of course, sustainability, it is the big ringing bell, right? That puts a company on that specific the boards, the stock exchange of sustainability, right? So having a strong sustainability strategy and a strong communication about it, and not only communication but also action, makes people want to work for a company, or make people want to stay longer, so they can see those strategies and those projects fulfilled. The functions that are staying closer to, let's say, manufacturing, they see engaging in sustainability as a definite benefit into resource efficiency. So people learn and understand how to better use the resources that the company needs to use in. But also leaders, let's say in C-level positions, they understand that sustainability is very important, and also the employees have them engage in sustainability for future readiness, so that when people understand exactly what is needed from them to and how they are supposed to act, to accordingly to the sustainability strategy, that then they are ready to act, on the sustainability agenda of the company, but also reacting, so they mitigate risk, but also that they oversee business opportunities, right? When we talk about new customers, new markets, a potential revenue. So I hope you had time to reflect on this and to understand why and what are the things that are important, from your perspective. But what I can tell you actually about why is important, why we figured out is this important for us, is because it is definitely a shift in, so sustainability is a paradigm shift, and this shift is affecting company cultures and is affecting people's mindsets. So if people don't understand how to act in sustainability and they don't feel they are part of it and they can contribute, then they are not part of this shift. They are not part of changing, though it's not very nice, the word change, but actually be part of this green transformation, right? So in this paradigm shift, we definitely need behavioral shift, we need mindset shift, and this we can only achieve if we empower, employees to feel they're part of this transformation, and not bringing on again a very heavy change process, that is required from them. And we will explore later on how we can actually do this in an empowering way, right? So we really want to empower people to feel that they're part of it, and not bringing this heavy, again, change discourse on top of them. So once the company decides on a strategic direction, it's the sustainability department knows where the company needs to go, the C-level knows where the company wants to go, but then what we're missing is really taking people on, bringing them on board on this strategic direction. So we really need to make it clear for them. And this is where a lot of the strategies of engaging employees in is failing. Because one, they are not understanding correctly, a newsletter or a video from the CEO with what the company wants to do. They don't understand why they should be connected with that. So we hear this from a lot of the organization. The challenge is being people just think that there is a sustainability department that it's responsible for delivering on the sustainability strategy of the company. So you often will hear, oh yeah, but I'm working in HR, there's nothing to do with me. I work in accounting, I don't have a CO2 footprint, or so people don't understand the connection with them. But in the same time, they also don't understand why in their position, in respective jobs, they have they have an active role in it, because many times they don't understand the big why of sustainability. So accordingly, they don't understand the why of the company, right? Why the company needs to do this in sustainability, and they associate, the sustainability efforts with just marketing stunts, right? Oh, we need to say this because our customers demand on it, or yeah, I know marketing is saying this but there's a sustainability department, that is doing something, and we just need to report at the end of the year for our shareholders, right? So they feel that we're doing something in that direction. So not having people really understanding that the sustainability strategy, for the upcoming years, 2025, 2030, it is actually a strategic direction that all departments need to contribute to. And also why every employee needs to be part of it. It is actually one of the failures that we encounter. And that also because many times this information needs to be cascaded by the team managers. And these people, if they themselves don't believe into the why and they are not connected to this purpose, then they will not prioritize it as being something that they would like to communicate to their specific teams. So if we have to look into how to do sustainability strategy, or employee engagement in the sustainability in the right way, we need to understand that there is a gap up here that needs to be covered. So this gap of from knowledge, of what we do right now when we send newsletters, we send reports, maybe we do some type of e-learning sessions, right, where we try to teach our people the most important concepts that the company is working with, to actually bringing them to the advocacy level. It's a big jump, it's a big step, it's a big gap, and definitely we need to work with the employees, and help them on the way and not let them jump alone. And why I'm saying not let them jump alone is because also they might not do the jump in the right direction. So I would like for you again to take a moment and reflect on this and understand, where is your organization on this ladder? Do you have an idea on, like, if people are on the knowledge side, if you've had enough knowledge, if they have enough awareness? Are they buying into why the company is doing this and why they need to be involved? Do we have people in the intention part that they say, okay, I understand why this is important and I understand why I also need to be part of it? And also then how many do we have that are in the practice area? So how many people in your company understand, how to take a decision when it comes to sustainability, understand what are the trade-offs, and they actively practice, going in and researching or asking questions or considering sustainability at the steps of taking decisions, right? So not further on than we were talking about the logistics employee. Do they actually stop and do they think, can I send this order green? Or they're still, sending it fast. So I hope you will take time to do this and probably also have a deeper conversation with the people inside your organization. But what we can advise is that practice, and action are actually the things that are taking, sustainability and embedding it into the mindset of the employees, thus accordingly building, a sustainability culture. So we will cover now these steps, and we'll look into how to take people, what to do in the knowledge part, in the awareness part, how to take people the next into the approval, how to put them into intention, practice, and then, hey, hooray, at the end of this process, have them in big numbers become advocates. Advocates not only in talks with other stakeholders like suppliers or customers, but also advocates in their families and communities, So they can also take, the word and the mission of the company beyond the offices and beyond the work phone conversations. So awareness, as I was sharing with you earlier, a lot of the companies try to do this through communication, through intranet and newsletter, a video from the CEO. But many times where these awareness campaigns are failing is in not listening what people have to say in return. So sending messages only one way is not very successful, because they either get ignored by the people, or even if they open their emails or they look at the video, then they say, yeah, but this has nothing to do with me. We have a sustainability department that is in charge of that. So first of all, we need to make sure that people understand the concepts we're talking about, right? So if we want to talk about we're having an offsetting, strategy, or we want to become CO2 neutral by doing this or changing that, or we have an ESG, strategy. People really need to understand what sits behind those concepts, and also what or those abbreviation, right? And what has that to do with them? So how those concepts are very specifically connected to functions inside the company. So once you have a strategy and you have a clear goal of where you want to take your organization, then we need to look into how can we connect, this new strategic direction goals that are, of course, empowered by the company's values with employees' motivation, right? So can we get everybody on board if we have environmental causes? What do we do with those people that actually care about more social causes, in sustainability? How do we make them engage into CO2 reduction, right? And also, how do we make these people understand that sustainability has three pillars? So all the aspects of environmental, social, and as well economical are important at this stage. So really creating, a place where people can tap into knowledge beyond, let's say, 1 hour e-learning, right? But where they can actually find a place to maybe ask questions, or try out stuff, and understand, what are the trade-offs, with examples, right? With I would say in our recommendation, a very good support group can actually be built inside departmental level or team level, where you would have, some people that are, let's say, more driven, already in the advocacy stage, that they can actually bring up, and have discussions with their colleagues that are maybe only in the awareness stage, right? So that we want to make people curious about how their jobs are connected with this, but in the same time, make them feel that their team and their department, it is a support group for them to explore more, and that, let's say, even if they have an undesired economical sustainability heart, right, thinking only about the profit and return on investment, that even that perspective is welcomed and really appreciated when we need to think about environmental actions or social actions. So once we make people aware of what the company wants to do, why sustainability is important at the general level, why sustainability is important for our company, and thus very important also for you as an employee, right, in your specific role. When this is done, then we can definitely move on to the next step and try to engage people. Well, this engagement needs to happen first of all because people believe in what the company wants to do. So if for them it's not clear that actually the actions we want to take can make a difference, they can have an impact, and we're doing it not because we are working on a marketing stunt, but just because we really need to shift from the way we're doing business today, then people will then understand that their role is also crucial because it sits with them and not only in the marketing team, right? So creating, some kind of activities that are fun and are engaging and they are as well meaningful, where we can highlight the purpose, of what sits behind those important actions that we're taking, and at the same time putting people into let's say a peer pressure, peer support type of setup, where they can both take ownership, of their ideas, but in the same time inspire their colleagues, right, with their ideas, with their actions, with yeah, maybe let's say their reasoning, behind why they want to be involved. And this is also what we are looking right now with our platform, to really understand what is the motivation of the people and what would make them, what are the triggers that would actually make them act more, right? So it is difficult, and definitely it is a data-driven decision, to take it, but tapping into people's motivation and understanding, do they want to act in sustainability because they have a peer pressure from their social circle, or do they want to act in sustainability because they want to keep their job, or because they want to create the world as being a better place for their children? All this is important because it's not only going to help you to align the initiatives that you want to take with their motivation, but it's also very helpful from a communication perspective, because then you will know how to better communicate towards your employees when you need to start doing something. And again, we're going to talk also about the ideation, right? Because at the point where you will have people brought in, and I'm going to share again with you here. So once they bought in into what the company wants to do, then they set up an intention, and this is where they are actually in the engagement part. So once they are there, people say, oh yeah, I want to do more. And then they start having ideas. And it's very important from the company perspective to curate this idea in a very smart way. So here we deal with companies that they've launched out call to action for their employees to come up and bring up ideas on how the company can reduce CO2 emissions. And sourcing 300 ideas that none of them can be used, it's not ideal. And that also because employees get frustrated once they start ideating, and bringing out solutions that are not listened to. But also management gets frustrated because having to look and skim through 300 ideas that have literally no specific impact inside the company, it's again a waste of time. So we really try to advise companies that if you keep teams and departments as being the information dissemination group, empowerment, inspiration group, but also a place of real impact, then it's going to give you a better chance of really seeing ideas that can be put in practice. So instead of making people throw out ideas, to the management or to the sustainability team, which anyhow has a lot of stuff to do, we try to advise companies in keeping those ideas, keeping people ideating at a level where they actually have an influence and they have an impact. And that is in their own little courtyard, right, in their own little team or department, where they can not only inspire each other through the actions but also they can keep each other accountable, right, for delivering on the things and on the ideas and on the commitments that they start doing that specific team. Giving people this power of thinking about solutions connected to a company target or a company goal, where people can start taking action inside the teams of departments, it also creating a better alignment, right? So people actually start taking initiatives in the scope, of the company's targets, but in the same time creates confidence, inside the employees that, hey, I actually have a saying, and I can have a small impact, but I can have an impact, and I can have a contribution in what we want to do, right? So this alignment and in the same time, confidence is very important, because this then keeps people being engaged. And then the next step for us would be to actually move from here. Once people have the abilities, right, they have, they understand, what does it mean to take a decision in, the simple, basic, and maybe not as impactful replacing the plastic cups. What does it take, right? What does it take to take a long-term decision, instead of a short-term decision? And also, where do we need to look? Like, do we need to look into the actual pressures? Do we have a pressure in our department or in our company connected to waste, or is it to water, or is it to CO2, right? So building up these abilities in employees is not only giving them the confidence, yes, we want to listen to your ideas and now you need to ideate, but also giving them the space where they can practice this decision, to exercise, see example, understand the trade-offs, and really make them understand, I would say, in a framing perspective, what does it mean, right? What does it mean, my action? Like, how much am I contributing to this? And how much could I also contribute if I'm doing other things? So once they have this abilities, right, to put in practice, the concept and the impact that they would like to have, and building up this confidence that, hey, even a small step, every day takes us somewhere, because a small step from one person multiplied with the number of employees, multiplied with the numbers of people in general, right, in this world, it's going to take us a long way. So building up these things and this, let's say, representation, visual representation, framing, for the people, where they can actually create, a paper cup versus a ceramic cup, right? Like, if I need to replace the plastic cup, what is the impact of one versus the other, right? Then we'll make them really look at this sustainability decision and sustainability engagement as being something that they would like to explore more, right? Where they would really want to understand what kind of decision they can take on the daily basis, right? Again, going back to the idea of transporting green, or transporting fast, people will really be able to put a number, right? A representation on what does it mean when they press a button instead of the other button, right? Or when they approve a delivery instead of the other one. Once we brought people, right, in this space of taking a sustainable decision, really understanding what are the trade-offs, but also what are the pressures now, in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 30 years, but also longer, will really make people provide, opportunities for the company, really coming up with ideas, that they can be implemented on a short to medium term, in the same time also on the long term, where they can bring solutions from not only optimization, but maybe even innovation inside, again, as I was saying, departments and the teams where they are. So having a place for people to ask these questions, be it the sustainability department, or being some ambassadors if you have, or being some maybe the sustainability team, right, if they have this, then people would really understand what kind of decisions are impactful decisions and what kind of decisions are not so impactful decisions. And in this process, they would also understand how important collaboration is, because the trade-offs of sustainability, I mean, is this more water costly or CO2 costly, or is this more energy cost, or producing more waste, is very important for a system thinking development. So once we brought people at this stage where they really believe that what the company is doing is great, where they really want to be part of it, and where they also understand how they can be involved, then it's very important to give a space to create and design paths for them where they can actually take actions, but also understand, like framing, the impact of these actions on a short or long term. And once people start taking decisions, and they can measure the impact, and they can see, okay, if I'm doing this today, I'm reducing this much with this much CO2, my footprint. And if I do this for the company, we're going to reduce with this much the emissions. Or if we implement this, or if we start changing this behavior in the office or in the manufacturing plant, then we can easily improve these processes. So again, as I was saying, it's not only process optimization, but it also spurs innovation ripples. And this is where people are having this framing inside, and where they have the confidence of talking about, the decisions or the ideas that they brought in, because, hey, we need to change this specific process, we need to change, let's say, our delivery system, and and this would actually bring more, let's say, more idea inside of, let's say, even performance, management. But this is where we can actually bring people into the advocacy phase, because at this specific phase, people have gone through the awareness, they learned the knowledge, they went and they search for very specific things that they're interested in, connected to their jobs, to their teams, to their specific KPIs. And this is where, of course, the company only needs to open up, the taste for it. And that is actually the most desired, outcome from an engagement session, to open up the taste and leave people the space to actually go and explore more, right? Because of course we cannot create programs to make everybody PhD in knowledge, right? People can actually go, and there's a lot of resources out there, in the world, on the world of internet, where people can find how to do things. But we just need to make them curious, and we need to make them to involved, so they can think about these solutions. And once they got there, they will be the ones talking. They will be the one looking and searching, to discuss with different departments, how to bring those ideas and those optimizations to place. They will talk with suppliers, with customers, and this is also where they will actually go out in society and talk more with the people around, and become actually the brand ambassadors that we always wanted them to be. And this is also where we were talking with a company the other week, that we deployed a sales module, so for their sales team, to talk about sustainability, where if you put sustainability in the hands of your salespeople, but they actually don't understand, the concepts and the trade-offs, and the things that sit behind what you are trying to do as a company, they will go, they will say the story, right? They will read the sustainability label of the product or of the service, but then when they will be asked back, by the customers, and they will not be able to defend, what they are talking about, then you will fall in a greenwashing trap as a company. Because then people on the other side, they will judge you, and they will say, oh yeah, this is just, they're not really doing it. Or the salespeople will defend themselves and say, oh yeah, but this is what the sustainability team told me to say, but they are the ones in charge of doing this. So again, transparency, right, and trust, especially from the customer perspective, comes when those that are talking about the sustainability efforts, of the company, are also able to answer questions and defend, different perspective that people will come to it. So this is, let's say, the desired outcome of every company, to really have their employees become brand advocates, and ambassadors of the sustainability initiatives. But we do need to put a little bit of effort into getting people there. So it's not an easy job, and it's not something that would probably be solved overnight. It's definitely a transformation process, exactly as we were saying. There are a couple of steps to put in there, but starting from a different place in this area, and skipping the other steps, it's probably not going to be successful. And yes, we can acknowledge that your company will probably have a couple of advocates, 10, 15, 20%, of your employees will be those that are coming already sustainability hungry from outside the company, right? But how many do you manage to form inside the company, right? How many do you manage to take from being a regular employee that is doing business as usual as they've done until now? How many can you actually take and put them into the advocacy, just by sending them newsletters that, hey, this is what our company is doing? So if we need to move organizations, right, from just knowing what we want to do, in sustainability, to actually making those people talk about it passionately and really believing, right, in what the company wants to do, take a couple of steps, and takes a little bit of commitment, right, from both the sustainability department, but as well in collaboration, definitely with the HR department, and as well internal communication. So yeah, it is a process, it is a transformation, right? We don't want to call it change, because it is a transformation towards better a better society, a better world, and a better way of doing business. And if we have to give a couple of steps, that we need to follow in delivering this blueprint of engagement that we build up, then this is what we recommend. First of all, to identify where people are, in that behavioral change or transformation scale. Then create engagement paths to bridge the gap. So really trying to understand what would be measures to make people understand better what the company wants to do and how, and that they are needed. Better paths for them to really understand, once they decided that they want to be part of it, what they need to do. And then as well, communicating to tap into their sustainability hearts. So this is again connected with one of the failure points where, if I care a lot about the environment, but you keep telling me about, I don't know, some social aspects, and I feel like the company is not doing anything in the environment, then I'm not actually hearing what I would like to hear. So knowing what type of sustainability heart your employee have, not the ones that they declare it, but actually the ones that they really have it, then it's gonna help the company a lot into really communicating for engagement, right, and really trying to put together, those people that are really burning for special causes to drive, those initiatives. Then, help people win. So again, when we talk about making people taking actions, right, and now we have a lot of the companies that need to make a very sudden shift and a very, let's say, big jump. And here, a couple of sustainability decisions are not very popular because it is changing, maybe even company benefits, structures. But if we realize how we can give people options, to start taking small steps that where they feel they are winning, and we are not bringing radical changes that they will be scared or they will be frustrated, and they will definitely associate sustainability with something negative, then in these winning paths you have a higher chance to convert them into advocates. Again, simple example would be, if my company would make me drop my car right now, right? I'm driving, I would feel very frustrated. But if my company would actually give me the potential to understand that the CO2 footprint or the CO2 emissions that I have by driving my car every day to work, I need to do other kind of things, in other kind of behavioral areas where I will feel much more engaged actually to take those steps, then I would feel that I have the option to win. I have the option to do something that is not as hard, from my perspective, in that I'm actually winning, I have some kind of impact after all. So and the last thing is, please take data-driven decisions, because what happens with a lot of organizations, especially when it's the sustainability department that needs to create these programs, of course, everybody in the sustainability department, they are advocates, and they will think about things like people are just like them, right? Let's become advocates. Let's go in and do this and talk with people and plant trees and clean the oceans, and do all this stuff. But they're not taking into consideration that maybe a lot of the people don't even know why they do this, and they don't even see the benefits, beyond this. So again, it takes some time, but please think that you need to understand, where are people and like how much have you done here and what are the results here? Do actually people know? Do they have the knowledge, or you think they know because they tick a box, into your e-learning, system because they've done the course, right? And after doing that course or workshop or training or whatever, or after receiving 5, 10, 100 newsletters, do they actually buy into it, right? And if they buy, how many of them, right, have bought into, hey, they need to be part of it? So again, looking at the data and really identifying, where the organization is in these steps would really tell you what are the next steps that you need to do, but also where should you concentrate your efforts more. So depending on the percentages of the employees, on this ladder, then you would definitely identify where is it that you will have to actually put more effort in, what kind of effort, and how can you drive, and move the people, and drive them towards becoming the advocates. With this being said, I would like to understand from you, or I would like for you to take some time to reflect and see what would it take for you to implement this in your organization. Like what would be, or like, do you know where you are, and like, would this be a hard win? Do you have processes in place already for it? Do you have the right paths designed for it, or do you need help? Do you need one place, where we can actually put all these things? Yeah, it would be nice to hear your thoughts, and it would be nice to understand, like, what is it that you see working? Where is it that you would see a challenge on it? And also, what do you think it's missing from what you have today to be able to lift up this transformation and really engage the workforce in becoming in becoming green skilled, right, for tomorrow, and becoming really engaged in contributing. Yeah. Now, if we have questions, maybe we can take them either in the chat, or we can take them into the question section. So yeah, I'll be very happy to hear from you and understand, like, what are your worries, what are your challenges. Maybe there's something that I said that doesn't quite make sense for you, or maybe it does make sense, but it feels very complicated. Yeah, would be interesting to hear, like, what are exactly your thoughts, and yeah, share with us what is it that is really on top of your mind after all this presentation. Yeah, with this being said, please remember to join the Scandinavian Sustainability LinkedIn group. It was very nice to have this opportunity of really catching up with a lot of sustainability people that are really responsible for engaging employees in their strategy, in their area of acting. And we know that a lot of people are not making this a priority, but we also know that it is in your power to make them aware of the impact that they can all have. Once again, thank you very much for participating, for really being here, taking your time, and wanting to find out more about what and how to do sustainability, employee engagement in sustainability, and bringing the transformation that is needed inside your company together with your colleagues. Thank you very much. I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and let's keep in touch.